Listen to me. Some of you are carrying weights that were never meant for your shoulders. Some of you are drained, not because of what life is asking of you, but because of what you refuse to let go of. And until you learn the power of walking away, until you learn the strength in detachment, you will keep fighting battles that were never yours to fight. When you decide to detach, you're not quitting, you're rising. You're saying to life, I will no longer give my peace as payment for somebody else's chaos. You see, anybody can get angry, anybody can clap back, anybody can argue, but it takes strength, real unshakable strength, to stand in silence, to protect your spirit, and to walk away with dignity. Some of you need to understand this right now. What you walk away from will speak louder than what you hold on to. Every time you detach from the wrong thing, you make space for the right thing. Every time you let go of people who drain you, you allow divine connections to find you. Every time you stop reacting to distractions, you hear the whisper of your purpose more clearly. Detachment is not weakness, it is wisdom. It is the realization that you don't need to prove yourself to anyone. You don't need to chase anyone. You don't need to beg for what was never meant to stay. The one who can walk away, the one who can detach, is the one who cannot be broken. I came to tell you peace is more valuable than approval. Confidence is choosing clarity over confusion, stillness over noise. The moment you detach from opinions, you start walking in authority. The moment you detach from the need to control everything, you start living in trust. And the moment you detach from fear, you step into freedom. Some of you are living below your destiny because you've allowed yourself to be tied to what no longer serves you. But hear me, nothing and no one has the power to hold you unless you agree to it. Your spirit was designed to soar, not to be shackled. And when you detach, when you say, I release what is not mine to carry, you align yourself with divine purpose. Would you like me to expand this into a full 20-25 minute delivery script, like a stage speech with pauses, audience call and response, storytelling and repetition in the Les Brown style, or keep it in this powerful compact version? Not everything in your life deserves your energy, and the sooner you come to terms with that, the freer you will become. Energy is life itself. Where you place it determines what grows and what dies in your world. Some of us are exhausted, not because our destiny is heavy, but because we keep pouring into things, into people, into conflicts that were never assigned to us. Every time you give your energy to unnecessary drama, every time you argue with someone determined not to understand you, every time you chase approval from those who have already made up their mind about you, you're wasting the very fuel you need for your own growth. Think about this. A light bulb doesn't shine in every direction with the same intensity. It becomes powerful when focused, when the energy is directed. The same is true for your life. When you learn to stop scattering your energy on people and problems that don't matter, you gain the clarity and power to move mountains in the areas that truly matter. Protecting your energy is not selfish. It is survival. You can't build your dream if you're drained from fighting battles that serve no purpose. There will always be people who try to pull you into arguments, circumstances that demand your reaction, and distractions that scream for your attention. But strength is not in giving them what they want. Strength is in your ability to say, no, my energy is too valuable to waste here. You don't owe everyone an explanation, you don't owe everyone a reaction, and you don't owe everyone your presence. Reserve your energy for what uplifts your spirit, expands your vision, and aligns with your calling. That is the true mark of wisdom and inner power. What you walk away from defines you just as much as what you pursue, because your decisions reveal your values. Every yes you give is powerful, but every no is just as sacred. There are doors that only open when you have the courage to close others. Some people think success is only about chasing opportunities, but it's also about refusing distractions. It's not just about what you add to your life, it's about what you remove. When you walk away from what is toxic, when you release environments that suffocate your growth, you're not losing, you're preserving the best of yourself for something greater. Too many people try to hold on to everything and everyone, believing that more is better. But wisdom teaches us that subtraction is also the pathway to multiplication. Every time you walk away from a relationship that drains you, you're making room for one that inspires you. Every time you walk away from habits that keep you small, you're creating space for disciplines that make you great. The world measures you by your pursuits. But life ultimately defines you by your boundaries. The person who has no boundaries, who never walks away, becomes a prisoner of other people's expectations. But the one who can walk away demonstrates self-respect, discernment, and vision. Walking away doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're strong enough to choose alignment over attachment. Remember this, not everything that comes into your life is meant to stay. Some things are assignments, some are lessons, and some are distractions. And the power of your future lies in knowing the difference. The moment you start walking away from what no longer serves you, you declare to life itself, I am ready for what's next. That's where transformation begins. Emotional control is the highest form of power because it determines whether you lead your life or your life leads you. Anybody can react when provoked. Anybody can lash out when they feel disrespected. But the one who can stand firm in peace while everything around them shakes, that is true strength. When you allow your emotions to dictate your actions, you hand over the keys of your destiny to circumstances and people who do not deserve that kind of influence. Every outburst, every reaction, every moment you lose control, you're letting someone else write a page in your story. Emotional control doesn't mean you deny what you feel. It means you refuse to be mastered by it. You acknowledge the anger, the hurt, the fear, but you choose not to let it direct your steps. Think of it this way. Storms will always come, but a captain who panics will sink the ship. The one who steadies the wheel, even when waves are violent, is the one who reaches the shore. That's what emotional mastery is, the ability to stay steady when life is unstable. The truth is, people will test you, situations will provoke you, and disappointments will tempt you to break character. But every time you remain calm, you are declaring, I am greater than this moment. I will not reduce myself to match chaos. Power is not proven in the noise, it's revealed in your silence. The world respects the one who does not flinch, who does not crumble, who does not surrender their peace just because life turned hostile. When you master your emotions, you master your decisions. And when you master your decisions, you master your destiny. That is the essence of true power. Control within creates victory without. Detachment is often misunderstood. People assume it means you stop caring, but that's not the truth. Detachment means you refuse to be controlled. It means you choose love without losing yourself. You choose compassion without being consumed. And you choose presence without being imprisoned. To detach is to stand in your own power and recognize that your worth is not determined by how tightly you hold on to things or people, but by how freely you can remain yourself, even when life tries to pull you in every direction. When you are attached in an unhealthy way, your peace depends on someone else's actions. Your joy depends on circumstances. And your identity depends on approval. That is bondage. Detachment sets you free. It allows you to love others without fear of losing them. To give your best without being destroyed if it isn't received. To stay grounded even when situations change. You no longer live as a prisoner to outcomes. You live as a vessel of purpose, steady and unshaken. This kind of strength is not coldness, it is clarity. It is knowing that you can walk into a room and be fully yourself without needing validation. It is being able to say, I choose peace even if they choose conflict. I choose joy even if they choose bitterness. I choose purpose even if they choose distraction. That is the power of detachment. When you stop needing everything to go your way, you discover you can flow with life without losing yourself. When you stop clinging, you learn to receive. Detachment doesn't reduce your ability to love. It deepens it because now your love is no longer rooted in fear. It becomes unconditional, pure, and liberating both for you and for others. Peace will always be more valuable than approval, and silence will always carry more strength than an argument. Too often we sacrifice our inner calm to win the favor of others, chasing validation as if it can fill the emptiness inside. But the truth is, no amount of applause can replace the serenity of a quiet soul. Approval is fleeting. It shifts with moods, opinions, and seasons. But peace is eternal, rooted in your alignment with truth. When you fight to be liked, you become a prisoner of people's expectations. When you choose peace, you step into freedom. There will be moments when others misunderstand you, when they question your decisions, when they criticize your path. The impulse is to defend yourself, to explain, to argue. But silence, when chosen from a place of strength, speaks louder than words. It says, I know who I am. I know where I'm going, and I don't need your permission to walk my path. Arguments drain energy, but silence protects it. Approval feeds the ego, but peace feeds the soul. Choosing peace doesn't mean you're passive. It means you're powerful enough not to be pulled into every storm. It means you value your well-being over the need to prove a point. It means you understand that peace is the environment where growth, creativity, and clarity flourish. You cannot hear the whispers of destiny if you are drowning in the noise of seeking approval. At some point you must decide, is it better to be applauded for a moment or to be at peace for a lifetime? When you stop chasing approval and start guarding your peace, you rise above the noise, and in that stillness, you become unshakable, untouchable, and unstoppable. Your spirit cannot soar when it is chained to the opinions of others. The weight of people's judgments, their doubts, their expectations, these are invisible shackles that keep so many from rising into their true potential. Too many dreams have been buried, not because the dreamer lacked ability, but because they were too concerned with how others might perceive them. When your decisions are guided by fear of disapproval, you are living someone else's life while abandoning your own. The truth is, no matter what you do, someone will always have an opinion. If you succeed, they'll question your methods. If you fail, they'll criticize your attempt. If you stand still, they'll label you lazy. You cannot win the game of pleasing people because the rules change every day. But when you detach from their voices and choose to follow the calling within, you begin to live with freedom and authenticity. Your spirit was designed to soar, not to crawl under the weight of human approval. Every time you silence your gift to avoid criticism, you clip your own wings. Every time you shrink to make others comfortable, you betray the greatness placed inside you. But when you rise above opinions, when you declare, I will not let their voices drown out my purpose, you give yourself permission to fly. The eagle does not ask permission to spread its wings. It simply soars because that is what it was born to do. In the same way, you don't need permission to be who you were created to be. Detach from the noise, let go of the chains, and trust the inner voice that speaks truth to your soul. That is when your spirit begins to rise beyond limits. Detachment frees you to hear the higher calling within you. As long as your heart is tangled in distractions, as long as your mind is consumed with noise, you cannot fully discern the quiet whisper of purpose that is trying to guide you. Life's greatest instructions rarely come with thunder and lightning. They come in stillness, in clarity, in the moments when you have released what doesn't belong to you. What if you are clinging to every relationship, every opinion, every outcome? Your soul becomes too crowded to recognize divine direction. There are times when separation is necessary, not because you don't care, but because you need to listen. When you detach, you create sacred space where your spirit can breathe and your vision can expand. You begin to recognize that not everything demands a response. Not every fight is worth entering, and not every voice deserves a seat in your mind. That empty space you feel when you let go is not emptiness at all. It is the opening where wisdom enters. When you are detached, you are no longer a prisoner of circumstances. You can stand in the middle of storms and still hear the guidance of peace. You can endure seasons of uncertainty without losing your direction. You begin to realize that the higher calling is not hidden from you. It has been waiting for you to quiet the noise long enough to notice it. The truth is, clarity requires release. You cannot hold on to everything and still expect to walk with precision. Detachment is not about loss. It is about alignment. When you choose to let go of what no longer serves you, you finally make room for what destiny has been trying to deliver all along. Confidence is choosing presence over pressure, clarity over chaos. It is not the absence of challenges, but the decision to remain steady in the middle of them. Confidence doesn't shout. It doesn't need to. It speaks through calmness, through the assurance that no matter what is happening outside, there is an anchor inside that cannot be moved. Too many people confuse confidence with arrogance. Arrogance is loud, insecure, and dependent on validation. Real confidence is quiet, rooted and unshaken by the shifting winds of life. When you choose presence, you are no longer a slave to worry about the future or regret over the past. You stand fully in this moment, knowing that here is where your power lives. Pressure will always try to pull you away. Expectations from others, deadlines, demands. But confidence allows you to breathe, to focus, and to act with clarity. Chaos surrounds us all, in relationships, in workplaces, in the world. But clarity comes when you refuse to be swept away, when you choose to respond instead of react, when you know who you are and why you are here. This kind of confidence is not built overnight. It is forged in the fire of trials, in the silence of solitude, in the courage of letting go. It is learned when you walk into rooms where you are doubted and decide not to shrink. It is learned when life pressures you to panic, but you choose patience. Confidence is the fruit of alignment, when your heart, your mind, and your spirit are in agreement with your purpose. And the beauty is this: once you find that inner steadiness, you carry it everywhere. You no longer need chaos to settle before you move forward. You bring clarity into the chaos. That is true confidence. The one who can walk away is the one who cannot be broken. There is a power in knowing that your value is not tied to what you cling to, but in your ability to release what no longer serves you. When you are able to walk away from toxic relationships, from empty opportunities, from environments that suffocate your growth, you are declaring to life itself, I am whole without this. I am enough without this. That declaration makes you unshakable. Many people stay bound because they fear loss more than they desire freedom. They stay in situations that rob them of peace because they think leaving will leave them empty. But the truth is, staying where your soul is dying is the real emptiness. Walking away is not weakness, it is strength, it is clarity, it is the ability to trust that what lies ahead is greater than what you are leaving behind. The broken are those who believe they cannot survive without what they are attached to. The unbroken are those who know they carry everything they need within. Walking away does not mean you stop caring. It means you stop being controlled. It means you understand that holding on to what hurts you is not love. It is fear. And fear is the chain that keeps you from destiny. When you can walk away, you stand taller, because nothing external has the power to enslave your spirit. True power is in choice. The choice to rise, the choice to detach, the choice to say, I will not compromise my worth. The person who can walk away is not reckless. They are free. And freedom is unbreakable because it flows from a soul that refuses to be owned by anything less than purpose. Detachment is not loss. It is alignment with your divine purpose. Too often we mistake letting go as failure, as if releasing something means we have been defeated. But in truth, detachment is an act of faith. It is trusting that what leaves your life was never meant to sustain your destiny. And what remains is what carries you forward. The universe, God, life, it all has a way of removing what no longer serves you, even when you resist. When you cling to what is dying, you delay what is waiting to be born. Detachment is not about emptiness. It is about making space. When you let go of what is temporary, you create room for what is eternal. When you release people who cannot walk your path, you open the door for those who are aligned with your journey. When you stop forcing outcomes, you allow divine timing to unfold with precision. Every detachment is a redirection, a gentle nudge toward where you truly belong. The truth is, purpose cannot be fully realized when your heart is entangled in what no longer fits your season. Growth demands release. Transformation demands trust. The moment you detach, you are no longer chained to the weight of the past. You are free to rise into the vision planted in your soul. And that freedom is not lost. It is gained because it restores you to who you were always meant to be. So understand this. Detachment is not abandonment. It is alignment. It is not weakness. It is wisdom. It is not loss. It is preparation. Every time you let go of what was never yours to carry, you step more deeply into your purpose. And in that alignment, you discover the fullness of life you were destined to live. Life will always test you with things that try to claim your energy, your attention, and your heart. But the truth is, you were never created to be chained to fear, to opinions, to chaos, or to anything that robs you of your peace. Detachment is not about walking away from life. It's about walking into life with clarity, strength, and freedom. It is the decision to stop surviving for the approval of others and to start living for the calling within you. The moment you choose peace over pressure, purpose over people-pleasing, and wisdom over reaction, You begin to rise into a version of yourself that nothing and no one can break. That is where your true power lies, not in what you hold on to, but in what you are strong enough to release. So hear this, your destiny does not need your chains, it needs your wings. Let go of what no longer serves you. Protect your energy, guard your peace, trust the higher calling on your life. And when you do, you will discover that nothing can stop a soul aligned with purpose. Nothing.